We'd see a lot of annotations for Nvidia. Now we're in that section of the convo. Next week, that's the big highlight, Kevin Green, for sure, especially without any big economic data, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be probably the last earnings announcement here to give the bulls a little bit more confidence that they can push to the upside before we get more economic data and then leading up into the Fed meeting here. So there's a lot of anticipation for this announcement. I usually don't look at the implied move, especially on a Friday, especially on options expiration day, but the market is implying around a 7% move to the upside or downside. Oliver, you know that could increase and or decrease over the next couple of days here. The revenue forecast is set to be around $16.12 billion. That would be 171.7% growth on a year-over-year basis. The earnings estimate per share is right now at $3.34. That would be a 475.9% increase on a year-over-year basis. Once again, we're going to be focusing on the data center side of the business. This is where these GPUs for generative AI and some of these other models, these AI models that are being implemented, this is the segment that's going to reflect that. The estimate right now for the street is for sales to come in at $12.5 billion. That would be a 226.2% increase on a year-over-year basis. But this is going to be the heart and core of the business overall. The gaming segment could also shine a little bit of light when it comes to gaming. We have seen maybe a trough when it comes to this particular segment. Right now, the street's looking at revenues coming in at $2.78 billion. That would be a 76.5% increase on a year-over-year basis. Once again, the comps on that on a year-over-year basis is going to be very low, to say the least, for this time last year. So overall, that's what we're going to be focusing on. They have changed their strategy when it comes to their product cycle. Usually, they try to roll out new products within this segment every 2 years. But we did hear about a new product, the H200, which is going to be twice as fast as the H100, and that's only after a year of the H100 being quote-unquote available here. Now, that's a strategy to try to make it harder for their competitors to breach into the market as their competitors just get into this space. Nvidia is already trying to raise the bar. Let's see if that's going to be a good strategy moving forward, because unfortunately, it may actually cannibalize their business if they continue to do this over years and years.
Okay. So the numbers from last time we've got up on the screen right now showing the big growth, annually 22%, quarter over quarter 11%. That rate is expected to be able to maintain somewhat here, but maybe not exactly like a blast off. How do we kind of gauge where the standard is set now after these last couple quarters?
So that's going to be the hard thing right now. So we won't actually have a gauge until this time next year, right? That's when you're going to have that year-over-year comp. So the comps are going to be definitely exaggerated. The street's also going to be focusing on guidance. And I think that's going to be the key area here to really focus on. And here's the reason why. We have seen this back and forth with the United States government and Nvidia and some of these other chip makers that are out there around exporting chips to China. Now, Nvidia is one of China's biggest suppliers when it comes to advanced chips, advanced technology. So we continue to see Nvidia trying to roll out these GPUs or these chips to be able to meet the standards of these export bans. But once again, if the U.S. government comes back and tries to ban some of these new chips, I believe this is the H2 that was announced a couple of weeks ago. If that is the case, then we could have a little bit of a problem, because that could be billions of dollars worth of sales just for the China market alone. And that could impact guidance moving forward. Now, the street's not really expecting guidance to be shaken for fourth quarter, because this is going to be the Q3 earnings announcement. The guidance for Q4, not so much of a risk per se. Maybe we do see a little bit, but the guidance moving forward, their commentary about what they see for next year, next calendar year, will be listened to very greatly, because if they do say that they do see a little bit of a headwind when it comes to shipping chips to China, you have to then figure out who's going to buy these chips. The demand is high here in the United States, yes, but from a logistics standpoint, it actually could impact them at least for 1 quarter. So I think that's going to be what the market's going to focus on.
All right. And do you, after the AMAT thing from last night, do we need to really see them specifically carve out products for China the way they've indicated they would? Are they going to talk about that as like a separate revenue stream almost? I mean, it seems like there's going to have to be some pretty clear lines drawn.
Yeah, well, they are already doing that. So there's specific models to be able to hit that China market. So that's why they continue. Like, so when they roll out a product and the U.S. government says no, you can't do it, they'll roll out another one, and they have rolled out another one to try to be in compliance. So they are actually really transparent when it comes to the chips that are available. And just one thing to note too, just because they are made to hit the export, the requirements, if you will, it doesn't mean that it's just strictly for China as well. So there's going to be, once again, a situation where GPUs that may have been in process to go to China that no longer can go to China will have to go into some of these other customers that have been waiting. Maybe that comes at at a premium, maybe it comes at a discount, who knows. I think from a logistics standpoint, you could have a little bit of an issue from a supply chain situation, but the market's not really focused on that for the Q4 guidance. Once again, that's going to be Q1 of next year, or their fiscal year next year, Q1 2025. That's going to be the area that I would be focusing on. We'll probably get some commentary around that on the conference call.
Okay. Nice stuff. Hey, as a technical guy, before we let you go, Kevin Green, closing high for Nvidia, but not an intraday high. So what does that mean? Which one do we prioritize? You candle?
Closing
candle
prices,
zealot?
you always
candle absolutist?
Always prioritize closing prices at any charts that you look at, no matter if it's equities or commodities. That's usually what technicians look for.
All right. Okay. Amen. Thanks very much. KG, the one and only, with the NVIDIA preview.